Thank you, Beth. As always, it's a pleasure to have you play that beautiful piano. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Door County. I'm Cindy Nelson, and I join you today as service leader of this growing, journeying, liberal faith community. We are a people of faith, faith in our expansive welcome, faith in our ability to grow, faith in the precious gift of our truths, faith in the promise of trying, learning, changing, faith in our capacity to know ourselves and each other more deeply. We welcome you all to our service of faith in person and online. Thank you for being a part of this faith journey. And welcome to our visitors. If you are comfortable doing so, please stand and introduce yourselves and tell us where you are from. We're delighted you are here with us today, and of course, welcome you back. And I know, Karen, that you are going to be introducing some folks. Would you like to start?
Well, first of all, this is my brother-in-law, David. Wayne.
Good morning, Wayne.
I was thinking about introducing these two, too. Anyway, he's here for a visit. He makes a round every year. This time it's been 7 weeks. He's gone around and visited all of his friends and family and lots of national parks.
Welcome, Wayne.
Thank you.
Or David.
And this is Leslie Nelson, our new artist. She's going to talk a little bit about her work, but what are the odds that her brother is the person that's giving the service? Yeah. I mean, somebody who's got really good mathematical skills could figure that out. It's like, it would never happen.
Yeah.
Kind of magical, though.
Yeah, really. So Leslie is going to talk a little bit about her work as an introduction to the show. She will be in there for the coffee hour, and then after the talk back, she will be back in there for about 15 to 20 minutes to just discuss her work with any of you that wish to be there. That would be in the gathering room.
And I'll just mention that I have a table set up with some of the pieces, and on the back, they all have a story. So you can look at those. The ones on the walls, the story's printed next to them, but be sure and turn them over to see what the story is. This is Bailey's Harbors Merry-Go-Round in 1958.
So, and this is her
Husband,
husband,
Craig Warner.
Craig.
I'm the decorative spouse.
Well, welcome to all of you. Any other visitors? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Karen. A few minor housekeeping duties. Please raise your hand if at any time the sound system isn't working for you. Marilyn will fix it. So there. Please turn off any cell phones or other things that make noises. You do need both hymnals today, so I hope that you all remember to pick one up. If you didn't raise your hand, and one of our greeters will gather one for you. Okay, they're scattered about. Thank you. Our talk back will commence about 15 minutes after the service has ended. This gives you time to grab a cup of coffee, chat a little bit, and then come back. We will visit with Mark over here. At this time, if you have any announcements for the good of the fellowship, Bruce has the mic. Please raise your hand.
Good morning, everyone. Just a few notes about the pieces that I've picked this morning. First of all, for the hymn, I'm not sure how familiar it is, number 374. So I'll play it through in its entirety just to hear that melody. The opening prelude came from the Danish Amen Mass, and I grew up as a German Missouri Synod Lutheran, and there's not a lot of distance between those experiences. So I remember the bottom line that Amen was one of our responses in that Lutheran liturgy. Why I picked it for today, though, the word Amen is very interesting, as found in multiple religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all use a version of it. It is an expression of concurrence, accordance in opinion, agreement, cooperation, a word of affirmation. So I thought that that was really fitting for the civility project that we're going to hear about today. The last piece comes from an old Southern tune, Holy Manna, and there are different iterations of words for it. And one of the hymns that I'm familiar with is God Who Stretched the Spangled Heavens. And there are several lines in that that I love that I think also fit this idea of learning new behaviors about civility and cooperation. There's a line, we, your children in your likeness, share inventive powers with you. Great creator, yet creating, show us what we yet may do. So just a little bit of background of what rolls through my head as I think about Sunday mornings. The offertory is just a pretty tune. So
Thank you, Beth. Any other announcements? Okay, thank you, Bruce. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our speaker for today, Mark Nelson, no relation to Cindy Nelson, but is related to Linda Nelson. Any other Nelsons in here? Anyway, he is a member of the Door County Civility Project Steering Committee. DCCP was started in the spring of 2023, 10 years ago, and he was there from the start. And I was sharing with Mark that their little magnet for the refrigerator has been on my refrigerator for 10 years. So Mark has been married to Peggy. She was not able to be with us today, but they've been married for 41 years and have 2 grown children. Both are retired, but as happens here in Door County, they're pretty busy with volunteer activities. Not only DCCP, but many hours with the Rotary Club and their many projects. So thank you, Mark, for being with us. It is the first Sunday of the month, June already, and thus it is time to highlight one of our 7 principles. I thought it would be fitting, since our topic is civility, to actually combine principles 1 and 2, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Please stand as you are able and join me in reading 576 in the gray hymnal. A litany of restoration. If, recognizing the interdependence of all life, I'm going to stop you here. Please just say the italicized part, otherwise it gets too cumbersome. If, recognizing the interdependence of all life, we strive to build community, the strength we gather will be our salvation. If you are Black and I am white, it will not matter. If you are female and I am male, it will not matter. If you are older and I am younger, it will not matter. If you are progressive and I am conservative, it will not matter. If you are straight and I am gay, it will not matter. If you are Christian and I am Jewish, it will not matter. If we join spirits as brothers and sisters, the pain of our aloneness will be lessened, and that does matter. In this spirit, we build community and move toward restoration. Thank you. Today, we are also marking a national recognition of the Stop Gun Violence campaign by wearing orange. And aren't there a lot of shades of orange? So thank you for those of you who dug through your closets and were able to find something. But why orange? On January 21st, 2013, Hadia Pendleton marched in President Obama's second inaugural parade. 1 week later, Hadia was shot and killed on a playground in Chicago. Soon after this tragedy, Hadia's friends commemorated her life by wearing orange, the color hunters wear in the woods to protect themselves and others, thus orange. Wearing orange is now observed every June 2nd. Thousands of people wear the color orange to honor Hadia and the more than 40,000 Americans who are killed each year with guns, and approximately 76,000 more who are wounded every year. Again, I'm going to ask you to stand once again to read with me number 577, It is Possible to Live in Peace. Same format, you read the italics. If someone with courage and vision can rise to lead in nonviolent action, the winter of despair can, in the twinkling of an eye, be turned into the summer of hope. It is possible to live in peace. Nonviolence is not a garment to put on and off at will. Its seat is in the heart, and it must be an inseparable part of our being. It is possible to live in peace. Nonviolence, which is a quality of the heart, cannot come by an appeal to the brain. It is a plant of slow growth, growing imperceptibly but surely. It is possible to live in peace. If a single person achieves the highest kind of love, it will be sufficient to neutralize the hate of millions. It is possible to live in peace. If we are to reach real peace in this world, and if we are to carry on a real war against war, we shall have to begin with the children. It is possible to live in peace. The future depends on what we do in the present. It is possible to live in peace. Thank you once again. Thank you for bearing with me on this slightly longer welcome. Now let us light the chalice and begin our service. These are words from the Reverend Eric Heller Wagner. Blessed is the fire that burns deep in the soul. Blessed is the fire that burns deep in the soul. It is the flame of the human spirit touched into being by the mystery of life. It is the fire of reason, the fire of compassion, the fire of community, the fire of justice, the fire of faith. It is the fire of love burning deep in the human heart, the divine glow in every life. Please stand as you are able to sing Come and Find the Quiet Center. It's in your order of service. And then stay standing to say the unison affirmation and to sing the doxology. Find the frame where we are free, where the chaos and the cloud clear our eyes that we can see all the things that really matter, be at peace and simply be. Silence is offering to cleanse us, cools the heat and slows the pace. God is who speaks and names us, knows our being face to face, making space within our thinking, lifting shades to show the sun. Raising courage when we're shrinking, finding scope for faith begun. In the Spirit, let us travel, open to each other's grace. Let our loves and faiths unravel, celebrate the space we gain. There's a place for deepest dreaming, there's a time for heart to care. In the Spirit that is scheming, there is always room to spare. Please stay standing. We gathered together to seek knowledge and wisdom, to explore freely the vast reaches of mind and spirit, to celebrate within a caring community those truths, ancient and modern, which give meaning and direction to our lives. All that dwell below the skies, like songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung, in every land, by every tongue. And now you get to sit for a little bit. It's time to share our personal joys and concerns, an integral part of our community, where together we share the happiness so that we may rejoice with each other, and to share sorrow, because sometimes we need others to help lessen the burden. A gentle reminder that the service is live, so please have the person's permission to speak if you are talking about someone else. And again, Bruce has the mic.
I have had the pleasure of my last born niece. In 1967, she was born. She came to visit me for 3-4 days, and we had a wonderful time.
Oh.
And I even had time last night, or had the opportunity to witness what goes on at the garage at Husby's. Oh my goodness, that was fun.
Well, I'm glad you were able to make it here this morning.
I'm old, I got home early.
My joy is that I am in final rehearsals for a play that will open on June 16th, go through the 18th, and also June 23rd through the 25th. It's called Bauer. It's about Rudolph Bauer and the two women in his life. And it's a very, very interesting play. It will be at the Margaret Lockwood Gallery down in Sturgeon Bay in the Inside Out space, which is the performance space below her gallery. So I hope you will be able to join us. And there is a poster that I just put up this morning out there, which has a few more details about tickets and so forth. My concern is that I am facing a housing crisis. I have been looking for affordable housing for months, and nothing has worked out. And the house in which I'm currently living is going to be put on the market soon. So PIPCA will also be looking for housing. I'm open to any kind of suggestions, shared housing, renting out a room. If you know of anybody who needs to fill some space, let me know.
Thank you, Donna.
Lindley's. I have two joys. First, some of my dearest friends in the world are here today, Bob and Karen Eichelberger. Karen was the best boss I ever had. She was so good that how many years later we're still good friends, which is wonderful. Bob and Karen got interested in sailing, and John and I were helpers in getting them involved in that. So I'm delighted that every June they come to the Rushes, and every June they still want to see me. So welcome, and they come here.
We do. No, not rebuttal. But I am the boss after all. We've been worshiping with you since you were way over in that little building over by the pig. I don't know how many years ago, but we were there, and we've been coming ever since. So we're kind of like visitors, but I told Lynn this morning, it just feels like home. And in all of those years, we have just come to appreciate the UU faith and what you believe in and that sort of thing. And the joy in our life is that our daughter became a UU minister, and she preached here just a few years ago.
Yeah.
She was here and joined us this week when we were here, and she preached here, spoke with you. So yeah, this is a great community, and we don't even stand up and say we're visitors anymore because we feel so welcome here. So thank you so much for that over the years. You want to say? Oh, I have to say thank you for our grandson who's 20 today in South Carolina.
All right.
So, gratitude for him.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words.
My second joy is Sally Mom is home from the hospital. She's still quite weak and will need our support. Daughter Julie went back to Illinois yesterday. Karen came back up from North Carolina. I'm not sure how long she's going to stay, but I will find out today. So good she'll be home.
My joy today is that my first granddaughter, Kendall Solik, is going to be sweet 16. Tuesday, they had a family party for her yesterday. She's made National Honor Society and track team, and she's my favorite person in the world almost.
Almost. I heard that almost at the end, Jerry. Okay, thank you everyone for sharing. It is time for our offering, contributing as we can to sustain our fellowship and the works we believe in. Thank you as always for your generosity. In preparing for a moment of quiet, please listen to the Civility Project pledge, and then center yourselves so that you might be open to the message that Mark has prepared for us. Today, I aspire to pay attention, to listen, to be inclusive, to not gossip, to show respect, to be agreeable, to apologize, to give constructive criticism, and to take responsibility.
Well, I think we need a little clarification. You said you left Husby's early. You didn't say, did you go home alone? Oh, good. Good. Glad to hear that. And the other thing, Sarah, it's the odds of, again, as you mentioned, to have my sister here as the art person of the day and me giving the sermon makes me think one of two things. Either, Sarah, you are extremely devious or extremely lucky that we were able to come together and be here. In case it's the latter, I did buy a lottery ticket today. And if I win, I guarantee you I'll make a generous donation to the UUs. Bobby Dillon, a defensive back with the Green Bay Packers in the 1950s, was a hell of a ball player. In fact, he is in the NFL Hall of Fame. He was a ferocious tackler, and he still has a record for the Packers' career interceptions to this very day at 52. Amazingly, and I think this is off the charts, amazingly, he played his entire career with a glass eye. Now, if you go like this, where you can see both your hands, go ahead. Now, cover one side. Now go play football in the NFL. How many interceptions would that guy have had if he had two good eyes? Well, besides this, he was such a ferocious tackler that in one game he made a tackle that was so hard that his glass eye popped out. And so the players were on all fours looking for his eye. The ref stopped the game. And one of the referees walked over to Bobby and said, "Bobby, what are you going to do when you lose your other eye?" And he said, "Well, that's simple. I'll become a referee." So what is the Door County Civility Project and how did we develop? In 2002, there were some concerned citizens in Superior, Wisconsin, that felt that some of their elected local officials were lacking in certain administrative skills. So they decided to recruit some better prospects. After a year, they had failed miserably, mostly because of a lack of civility in public discourse. So they were at a crossroads. They had three choices. They could quit, they could lower their standards and look for the B candidates, or C, or they could raise the level of civility in public discourse. They chose door number 3. Now, I just want to make an observation. 99% of the people in this country would have gone with door number 1 or door number 2. I personally think the people in Superior deserve the Presidential Medal of Freedom for what they did by deciding to raise the level of civility, because there are civility projects all throughout America now. So how do you increase civility in the public discourse? You teach people how to be more civil. Well, how do you do that? They chose a Dr. P.J. Forney, who happens to be a professor at Johns Hopkins University. And he had written many books on civility, and the one they chose was 25 Ways to Be More Civil. So they started with those 25 ways, and they condensed them down to 9, which are the 9 things that you see there on your sheet. And the Civility Project was born. Now they have, in doing that, they came up with this poster, and they let us plagiarize the poster and all the stuff that they did, which we were happy to do since we didn't want to have to do all the work. And we've used all of that to do the things that we've done in Door County here. Now, what is the Speak Your Piece program? It is a holistic methodology to guide our interpersonal interactions that allow us to maintain civility while striving for solutions. The 9 tools are interconnected, and we have to use all 9 for the best results. In 2013, a member of Oshkosh Civility Project made a presentation to about 45 people in Sturgeon Bay. And the Door County Civility Project was born. Since then, we have done 300-ish presentations to various groups. Today, I'm focused on only 3 because we don't have time to do all 9. And those are tools, listening, respect, and giving constructive criticism. Now, I have a confession to make. My wife finds it incredulous that I have the audacity to try to teach other people how to be better listeners. That is for her the ultimate oxymoron, where I am both the ox and the moron. So why is listening hard? First, in elementary school, we learned how to read, write, and do math. However, most of us never have systematically learned how to listen. And because of that, most of us do it wrong. Second, our minds work 7 times faster than our mouths. Stephen Covey said, most people do not listen with intent to understand. They listen with intent to reply. Third, we assume we all understand the meaning of the words we use, and that is false. Now, my sister didn't know she was going to be part of the presentation here today, but the one I've been using recently is a conversation she had with her daughter over a year ago when my niece was pregnant and in tears on the phone with her because no one was planning a baby shower. Now, raise your hand if you know what a baby shower is. Okay, so at that time, Leslie, can you tell the group what your definition of a baby shower was?
It was like a fancy tea with ladies playing silly games that had jokes about sex, and you had little cakes, and it was like giggling, and then you had presents, and you made like a bouquet out of the ribbons, and you made like a hat thing, and it was like silly and stupid, and I had no idea that my smart daughter wanted such a stupid thing. So I never thought of suggesting it.
So my niece's idea of a baby shower was a co-ed party in the backyard with a barbecue. So they were like this. Once they got like this, my sister said, oh, that's no problem. We can get organize that for you. And they went ahead and did it. So we use these words and we have this false sense of understanding. So what can you do to be a better listener? First and most important is our attitude. And this part is directly connected to respect. All right? We need to have a desire to be a good listener. Dr. L.J. Ishram said, listening is an attitude of the heart, a genuine desire to be with another which both attracts and heals. Part of this attitude is what you want to understand why a person has the views they do. Alan Alda said, listening is being able to be changed by another person. Now, I can personally say that I had an experience where in my 20s and 30s, I was very pro the capital punishment. And I read an article one time that asked, is if we got every person who's guilty of murder to get capital punishment that was the laws in the state, is that worth we have to sacrifice one innocent life? And I came to the conclusion it's not worth one innocent life, even if we get all the rest of them right. So people can change if you have keep an open mind. You need to practice this. When someone is talking, you need to let them finish. Harper Lee said, you never really understand a person until you consider things from their point of view. And always when someone finishes a statement, your first response should be, what did I hear? Once you formulated your view on what you heard, then you should restate it to the person in your own words and see if you've gotten it right. Ed Cunningham said, friends are those rare people who ask how we are and then wait to hear the answer. As stated before, the words we say can have different meanings to people because of their experiences. Glennon Doyle Melton said, when people express opinions that differ from yours, take it as a chance to grow. Seek to understand over being understood. Be curious, not defensive. The only way to disarm another human being is to listen. Once you have done that, ask yourself, is there anything that have been said that you may or do agree with by the other person? Then verify that and ask them if they agree with your thoughts. Another way is to practice listening is with your eyes closed. 60% of our data, our mind's process is visual. Only 20% is from our ears. Now, you can do this if you go to a place like we are today or some place where someone's giving a presentation. Now, the first time I did this, I made the mistake of not informing the minister I was going to do this. So when I had my eyes closed, Shirley Senerigi thought I was hungover, and the minister thought I was making a commentary on their sermon. So don't do that. To take the time to listen to people with opposing views is a non-confrontational way. Watch cable TV news stations that slant to the opposite side of your view. Dick Cavett said, "It is a rare person who wants to hear what he doesn't want to hear." When you are in a heated discussion before responding, take 3 deep breaths. Robert Frost said, "Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or self-confidence." It is not an accident that the respect symbol on the poster is a heart, or that it is at the center of the posters touching all the other tools. And if you want a keynote for civility, it is respect. Or excuse me, keystone is a keystone. I was here when the guy did a great sermon on keystones out of Algoma and the other things, but that was a great talk. Anyway, this is the most important one. Respect, and why is it so important, and I say it's difficult too, is there's a couple misconceptions on respect. First of all, that you must earn my respect. People have to earn my respect. That's one misconception. The other one is admiration is synonymous with respect. Now, if you take only one thing from this talk today, only one thing, that should be civility requires that respect is a universal. We need to give it to everyone, especially those we disagree with. Respect is shown by applying the 9 tools in the order they are stated to all the situations you find yourselves in that require it. If you do that, you can lower your stress and be more effective in convincing others to adopt some of your ideas. Now, finally, giving constructive criticism. When you have paid attention, listened, found something that is inclusive, and by that, that's what I'm talking about, where you agree upon some things that you both you're not in disagreement with. So you should find out, and once you do that, you can do 3 things. You should have found out now in your discussions what the other person's experiences are, and you talk to them a positive way to initiate the discussion. That would be like, well, after finding out these experiences you have, I understand better how you feel the way you do about this issue. So give them some credibility. Then offer your suggestion for a new course of action. And then close by restating the things that you folks agree upon. And then using that as a starting point to make a bridge between the things you agree upon with the things you don't agree upon. And hopefully you can, one at a time, start making progress. Civility is Christianity light minus the love and salvation. We all have the time and the ability to apply the Speak Your Peace program, not only becoming more civil, but more Christian. Now, I will say on a sidebar, we are looking for people to join our steering committee, and if anybody wants to talk to me afterwards, I'd be happy to discuss that. And a couple of the upcoming events we have coming, we are planning to do a book read, much like the library did with public health about a book they had picked. And we decided to pick a book by Dr. Ryan Martin. He just wrote a book, How to Deal with Angry People. So we're planning to have a talk about that, and one in Sturgeon Bay, one in Sister Bay, and then have Dr. Ryan come up and make a presentation on the book itself. So that's coming down the pipeline. And then in March, we had two 2-hour programs on the Speak Your Peace project. And for the first one, and the second one was how to use Speak Your Peace to apply to implicit biases that we all have. Now, they said they want us to come back. So if you're looking for something on the civility again, that's something that will be coming up with the learning and retirement folks in the next semester. You're certainly welcome to join us then. So with that, amen.
Thank you, Mark. Encouraging words for our community. It did remind me of my days as a high school counselor and teaching teachers how to de-escalate in their classrooms. We used many of those same skills, and I'm sure many of us also use those with our children. Again, talk back in about 15 minutes. We will come back over here after you've had your coffee. Please stand as you are able to sing hymn number 1029 in the teal hymnal. Love knocks and waits for us to hear. Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and mend right. Love wants to guide every fear and seek to set things right. Love offers life in spite of foes who threaten and condemn. Embracing with them. Love comes to heal the broken heart, to ease the troubled mind. Without a word, it's a start to ask and seek and find. Love knocks and enters at the sound of welcome from within. Love sings the message all around and fills new life again. As we extinguish our chalice, the closing words come from Laura Lynn Bellamy. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another so they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace.